Hello guys, my name is Samantha Watts. Today we're gonna be introducing you a little about Uber. Uber is a worldwide transportation company that began back in 2009. To this very date, Uber keeps being a success thanks to the entrepreneurs Travis Kalanick and Garrett Camp. They started this mobile application because they were once stranded and had no transportation, which they very much wished there was a mobile application on the spot. This organization was chosen by us because it is a human resource that provides transportation and it is very easy to use. People are able to know in how much time the driver will be arriving, the driver's charge, and the ratings, which is most importantly. Uber has had to create different services like Uber X, Uber XL, Uber Select, Uber Black, and Uber SUV. Each service is unique in their own way and has impacted the organization in a major way. As it does have the other competitors on the market, then having these services is a positive because not everyone has them. But there was a big challenge around 2016. Hackers were able to access their information on the drivers, exposing them to the public and endangering their privacy lives. Uber had to pay $100,000 to stop them hackers from exposing the driver's personal information.
Subsystems in need of change at Uber are recruitment, training, and management. Recruitment and training of drivers is all completed in-app with no human interface and is less regulated than their taxi driving counterparts. Now, this raises a safety concern, which has been validated by the many attacks and crimes perpetrated by Uber drivers against riders and just people in general. In 2016, an Uber driver went on a shooting spree in Michigan, which resulted in the deaths of 6 people. And unfortunately, this toxic behavior and culture is essentially validated by the corporate management and its company culture. One of the CEOs, Kalanick, was forced to resign in 2017 after several controversies of his own, including a viral video in which he essentially berated a driver after they had raised concerns to him about the wages they were receiving on their driving shifts. Additionally, former employees had come forward making sexual harassment allegations, as well as stating that when they brought these concerns to HR, they were ignored. When we look at the training of Uber versus Lyft, it's very similar. Both of these require background checks, both have driver requirements that have to be met, and both have online and app-based training, as well as either some kind of sexual harassment training, or in Lyft's case, a community safety program. But the biggest difference between the two of these is the human element. So while Uber drivers do need to meet vehicle requirements in order to be able to drive, Lyft drivers do have those requirements, as well as the company schedules an in-person inspection for their vehicle to make sure that it's safe for the riders and the drivers that they will be on the road. In addition, when you look at the information training pages on both of these websites, the emphasis of the Lyft page is creating a community for drivers and stating that they can call for help at any time, where Uber makes almost no mention of this. Now, the impact of these proposed changes can be seen in the career readiness of drivers, the management of drivers, and the focus of the company. If Uber could design an algorithm paired with human interface that evaluated the career readiness of their rideshare drivers, that would be a big first step. Career readiness is a set of skills and aspirations that will advance a person's career success even in a rapidly changing environment. So some of these are talent, technological adeptness, and ethics. All of these apply to the rideshare drivers, but the main focus that Uber needs to make is some type of ethics test or screening to make sure, in addition to their background checks, to make sure that the people that they are allowing to drive are people that will be committed to safety. And management also needs to step up and become a part of this. They need to create local HR hubs of some sort for the driver, whether it's in person or remote, so that there is accountability. And this accountability needs to be the same kind of accountability that is held for those that are in the corporate offices, so that there is a consistent company culture. In addition, the focus of Uber needs to be twofold. and it needs to be client-based and user-based. When we speak of users, we're thinking of drivers. When we speak of client, we're thinking of riders. The safety concerns for both of these people need to be addressed by the company and need to be a focus of this company for their success. Now, the satisfaction of 3 of the stakeholders in Uber. 3 of these stakeholders are drivers, riders, and cities. Now, we've talked about drivers. They do have safety concerns, not quite as many as riders, but they do exist. We've talked about riders and how drivers have perpetrated crimes against them, and they deserve to be able to use the service without fearing for their safety. But also the cities will have a stake in this as well, because they've invited these services to come operate in their city, and that has caused harm to their citizens. The ease of the app and the lack of reliable taxi services in many small towns, along with the other services that Uber provides, like food and grocery delivery, keep the demand high, but the reputation among the users needs to be improved and could be by implementing our changes. And these users would be the drivers and the riders. And the way that cities could be satisfied is that Uber can assure them and make steps towards making sure that their citizens remain safe while using their service, and that the city is not being held liable for any of these behaviors.
Hello, my name is Andrew Felder, and for my part of the Management 420 project on human resources and change, I will be talking about ethics, corporate social responsibility, and attracting human resources at Uber. We're going to start with ethics. The Uber website states on its integrity page that the company is not only about achievements and success, but also how they are achieved and the behavior displayed along the way. According to their business conduct guide, Uber does not allow violation of its standards of ethics, which are defined in the handbook and include prejudice, harassment, revenge, intimidation, violence, and other similar offenses. The problem with these claims is that they are not taking steps to prevent ethics violations, only to punish them. There is a guise of utilitarian ethics, but its practices differ greatly. According to an article about Uber's ethical practices, serious offenses including kidnapping and physical assault have been perpetrated by Uber drivers, including some of whom were convicted felons who were only hired after hasty background checks. Rather than improving the quality of their background checks and employee vetting, they have continually classified their drivers as independent contractors, removing liability from the company. Next, we're going to talk about CSR, or corporate social responsibility. Sustainability is important to Uber according to their website and their commitment to reduce emissions to 0% over a 40-year period. Also, by 2025, the company plans to have hundreds of thousands of Uber vehicles that are electric vehicles. The company has put an emphasis on reducing climate change. This, in the long run, should perceivably increase profits as the customer base learns of their commitment to progress and improving the environment. According to the CEO of Uber, the following actions are being taken to reduce emissions. Quote, expanding Uber Green to make it easier for riders to choose to travel in hybrids or electric vehicles, committing $800 million in resources to help hundreds of thousands of drivers transition to electric vehicles by 2025, investing in our multimodal network to promote sustainable alternatives to personal cars, and being transparent and accountable to the public along the way. This suggests a socioeconomic view of corporate social responsibility, or CSR. A socioeconomic view of CSR focuses on both financial performance and social environmental issues. The next slide, and our final slide, is going to be attracting human resources. Uber will have to implement strategic human resources management in order to attract the required resources. This includes employee value propositions and psychological contracts. Employee value propositions are what entices potential employees to apply for positions. Offering a wide variety of benefits and pay will increase the likelihood of attracting quality employees, as the needs of individuals will differ. Psychological contracts are a way for both parties, employee and employer, to understand what they expect from each other. For the employee, it would include pay, benefits, and advancement opportunities. For employers, it would include skill, effort, and loyalty. The next step would be to improve the hiring process. Uber could increase the quality of their employees and company overall. This would include more extensive background checks, driving record checks, drug testing, and insurance verification. While these services take time and money, it would better ensure that the potential employees are of high quality and meet company standards and expectations. This leads to employee and customer satisfaction, and that helps to achieve sustainability. Thank you very much.
Uber is a high-growing private technology company that places an emphasis on company expansion and profit. In doing so, the company neglected to put necessary structures in place, such as human resources, to manage and supplement this growth, which is why hiring more HR personnel would benefit the company. While hiring more people, Uber should also expand on creating a cultural diversity environment. While hiring qualified employees within HR, in the HR department, to keep employees on course, one must have a training and development plan. Training and development can be initiated to address a performance gap, which is learning needed to meet performance standards for a current task or job, growth gap, which is learning needed to achieve career goals, or opportunity gap, learning needed to qualify for an identified new job or role. By providing different training and development methods, all employees of Uber, drivers and non-drivers, will be mandated to take courses provided by HR, which will promote efficiency throughout the Uber company. For instance, you have a driver who has received multiple low stars on their profile. From there, Uber's HR will assess the information provided by the customers, and based on the feedback, the driver would be required to complete certain training and development courses tailored to improve the driver's performance and ratings. To maintain, Uber must remain competitive in compensation and benefits. This puts the company in a position to help maintain the longevity of its employees. Employees are offered medical coverage in the form of health insurance, as well as life insurance, disability insurance, dental benefits, mental health benefits, and vision benefits. Uber offers a wide range of health and wellness benefits. This helps employees have a peace of mind when it comes to their well-being. Uber also offers flexible working hours along with employee discounts, just to name a few. By having employee benefit packages, which include non-monetary forms of compensation that are intended to improve the work and personal lives of employees. By having these resources, which most companies do not offer, Uber can maintain the longevity of its employees and will have less turnovers in the company. Attracting consists of human resource planning, recruitment process, selection techniques. Developing is onboarding and socialization, training and development, performance management, and coaching performance assessment approaches. Maintaining is flexibility and work-life balance, compensation and benefits, retention, turnover, labor management reflections. By Uber attracting, hiring skilled and qualified employees, developing, which is offering training courses, and maintaining, which is a healthy work-life balance for employees, this helps Uber as an overall well-rounded company.
Hello guys, my name is Sean Thompson. My presentation will be on slide 14 and slide 15. Slide 14 is we talking about the types of innovation which I use for correlates with the proposed change that we came up with. I use types of innovation with process innovation and product innovation. Process innovation is a better way of doing things. Product innovation results in a new or improved good or service. The proposed change is to create hubs for Uber. The hubs will manage the employees and serve as a need for assistance. So that's got a lot to do with the process change and the product change. A better way of doing things and results in newer, improved services. Then talents comes from people ability to knowledge, comes from the people ability of knowledge, like what they know or what they can do. Uh, the proposed change suggests training employees. This includes all employees, not just drivers or human resources. So by training the drivers, you can get them more knowledge of the job, like training them how to do customer service, training them how to do probably CPR or anything that relates to the public, customer service, dealing with people from the public is a good idea. Uh, Intellectual capital is goal with talent. It's up under talent. It's a combined brain power and shared knowledge of an organization employees. The knowledge that human resources has with Uber should be shared throughout the company. Intellectual capital equals competency times commitment that makes a business successful. This means that competency is not work alone. It has to have commitment. So you have to have competency and commitment for organizations to be successful. So this came up. This is a good correlation with our proposed change. Then leadership is another one that's good for our proposed change. Looking for Uber to have a better leadership. Then leadership is the ability to inspire others to work and to accomplish a task. And also, we look for Uber to have some type of positioning power, like reward power, like the ability to reward the employees of their value, like reward them with compensation, reward them with health insurance, reward them with pension plans, things of that nature, even help with gas or oil changes and things of that nature. That completes my slide 14. Now we go to slide 15, which is integration of faith, learning, and work. I chose two of those, which therefore we are confident that the work we do is part of God's calling on our lives and a means by which we can glorify God as we meet other needs. This is 1 Corinthians 7:17, which basically states that God is the author of our life. So Uber put God in the center of their organization would be successful. Secondly, therefore, we are certain that God is working to restore the broken lives and committees of his fallen world through the collective gifts, talents, and skills and resources of those who have been transformed by the power of the gospel. So if we created in God's image, just everyone who is born, they are created they are created with talents. They are created with new ideas. God created us in that way. He created us to be able to love. We should be able to love anyone. We should be able to live in a diversity society and get along with everyone. So that is great for the proposed change as well. That completes my presentation. If I may add, also, we have to have faith. Faith is a good tool for the proposed change that we're coming up with, because if we want Uber to have a better leadership, then Uber need to pick people that are God fearing, people that are lovable, not people that is full of hatred and just bitter all the time. We have no reason to be bitter because God is the author of our life. So why would we be bitter? This completes my presentation. Thank you for watching.
So in conclusion and recommendations, we have the networking, feedback, and interpersonal communication. The Uber services this organization provides are several, and it's what has helped this company be successful worldwide. Uber has had its negatives to its positives and vice versa. Having ethic is a must for this job because it's in everyday communication and interactions. So networking would be a great recommendation. Not every person likes to communicate, but the necessary is enough. Another will be feedback. Any customer is able to give their own rating in the application of the driver, and it's good to give it, but sometimes many people go overboard and leave this driver without customers. So maybe a recommendation would be to give feedback to their own driver as well. Any critical can be transferred into what the own driver wants. If he or she wants to better, then he or she will get the feedback and transform it into something positive for himself and his job. Interpersonal communication is another recommendation. This allows the customer and driver to recommend each other some important points. It's similar to feedback, but coming from both sides. For example, if the customer is being a little rude, then the correct thing from the driver would be to recommend the customer to calm down and ask him for respect. This could eventually go both ways depending from the customer, also from the own driver. If none of them are willing to respect each other or comprehend each other, then this could really end bad. But the point of interpersonal communication is for a positive outcome for both. Thank you.